Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and here I am with another impromptu live stream. So, I hope oh, the volume's up here. Sorry about that. There we go. So, uh, there we are. So let's hold on. Again, this is another one of those unannounced things, so I apologize for that. I hope you can understand. But right now, it's Saturday morning here in Tokyo. It is about what's the date today? The 12th of November, 2022, where I am. So it's Saturday morning, and I have I have a what's I'm in kind of rest mode, I suppose. So let's see, what was I going to say? Yeah, so it's yes. So it's my day off. Yes, so Friday I work Monday through Tuesday, Wednesday through Friday. So Saturday, Sunday I have a day off. So let's see. Let's see here. So the chat's open, and again, this is a kind of unannounced live stream. So nothing of any severe or dire consequence associated with this discussion. Nothing of the sort. It's just a chance for me to say hello. I think I've been a little bit quiet this week with uploads. I've been a bit busy, but I wanted to hopefully try to make up for that lost time by having this conversation today. So let's see where the conversation takes us over the next, say, hour or so with the surprise live stream. So for that, my dear friends, as always, the chat window is open, and anyone who is interested to stop by, drop a comment or say hello, please feel free to do so. I'll do my best to read everything. If I don't get to all of your questions or comments, please forgive me. I'm just checking as many as possible, and there might be things that I might not be able to answer or like, so, or not like, but not be able to answer not like, but did not be able to answer or the like. That's what I meant. So, in any event, so my dear friends, let us begin. So I guess I could start with just a brief. I don't know. It's not even an update. It's just it's again Saturday morning where I am. Very slowly but surely, getting things organized. That's a quote from Travis Bickle and Taxi Driver, right? But in any event, to get myself organized and things, it is already in mid-November. Can you believe it? And so time certainly flies. My goodness, I cannot believe that we are almost at the end of 2022. I don't even want to think about it. Time is indeed passing me by so very quickly, and reminding me of that great song, the Beatles song, Ringo Starr, "Don't Pass Me By." But the yes, so the state of things is again another type of taking the opportunity where possible to watch movies. It's been a bit of a busy week for me, I'll be honest. So I haven't been in the right. I haven't been in the right situation to be able to make and upload videos. Unfortunately, it's just been honestly, it's been quite busy with other matters. But I have watched a number of works, and I suppose continuing on with the Twin Peaks discussions, which will be carried on this month and then into December, which will end our year. That's the plan. So that's one thing that's been occupying my time in a very lovely way, I should say. And the other thing too is the let's see. Oh yes, I finally got the Kino. It is Kino, right? The Kino Lorber Blu-ray of Revenge of the Ninja, Sho Kosugi's Revenge of the Ninja. So I was very, and also Kane Kosugi as well, and I was very happy to revisit that film, Revenge of the Ninja. So I don't know if anyone anyone else is a fan of that film, Revenge of the Ninja, but as I have mentioned before, I was born in Japan, but I grew up in the 80s, mostly in the United States because of my father, my father's job, taking him to New York after I was born. So we were living in Connecticut, in this area at the time, and there was also a time when we were living in the United Kingdom. But during this period, when you're living in the States or when you're living in the UK, during the 80s, mid to late 80s, video stores and VHS rental stores were very much that was the place to go, and and that would be a thing that we would do, for instance, when friends would get together, sleepovers and the like. And one of the things would be renting a movie or two, or whatever the case may be. So oftentimes, Revenge of the Ninja would come up with a lot of the rentals that my friends and I would have as kids, and that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to watch that film. It's a really it's one of these films where you just go with the flow with it, and see where it takes you. And indeed, it goes in a lot of really quite wild and entertaining places. So in that spirit, it was really lovely to be able at last to get that Blu-ray, because I was able to rewatch the film, and then it really brought back so many memories of when I was watching it as a kid and just having so much fun with it, and the like. So thank you so much for this, and I owe that to you, my dear friends, because of um, the lovely super chats and super thanks donations, PayPal donations you have been very, very generous with. And it was so kind of you, because it allowed me also the opportunity to make Blu-ray purchases such as Revenge of the Ninja. So I hope that well, I want to say deep down from the bottom of my heart, I really want to say thank you. Thank you so much for that. It afforded me the opportunity to revisit this film and to relive these childhood memories that I had watching this work, Revenge of the Ninja. So thank you so much. Let's see. So I'm very, very grateful. Thank you. And indeed, also Ninja 3: The Domination. It hasn't arrived yet, but I'm looking forward to that when it arrives. So thank you so much. Thank you. Um, let's see. So Jimbo is here from the USA. So hello from USA, USA. So hello, Jimbo. Chi is here. It's nice to see you. Cartwheel Video. It's nice to see you, my dear friend. Did you ever get around to seeing Midsommar? Oh, yes, I did. In fact, I did manage to catch up with it. It was quite an experience, I must say. Very, very quite overwhelming in a lot of ways. So I haven't spoken about it at all on this channel, but thank you for asking us. It was quite an experience indeed. Matthew Lockwood is here. Hello. Future Wizard 97 is here. Hello. Michael Hewitt is here. Hello. She says it's still Friday where you are in the UK. As I mentioned, I used to live in the UK many, 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 many years ago. I lived in Surrey, and it was we lived in Guildford, Surrey, for a little bit, and then we lived in when I say we, my mom, dad, and I, when I was a kid, we lived in Guildford, Surrey, and then we lived in a place called Woking, Surrey. So those were really, really lovely times, I must say. I was very I haven't been to Guildford or to Woking in many, many years, ever since we moved out. I moved back to the U.S. I haven't been back to visit those places in a long, long time. It's always been my hope one day to be able to visit or revisit this area and see how much it's changed since we lived there. Again, we were living there around the early 90s, so that was 30 years ago now. So I'm sure lots changed in 30 years. So I look forward one of these days to hopefully revisiting the area. Reading, Ripley, Sand, Leatherhead, Bagshot, Wimbledon. I'm sorry, not Wimbledon. Weybridge, excuse me, Weybridge, and that area. So Cobham, right? So the A4, was it the A4? Right? Is it A? Was it I forget the M1, or was it the A3 and the M? I forget. Is it the A3? I forget. I my memory's really bad today. But anyway, thank you so much. I hope I hope you're well. I also I I hope they still have um, um, dime bars. I love dime bars. I really love dime bars. I love the commercials for dime bars too. It's really great. All right, let's see. And Michael Strider's here. Yes, hello. It's nice to see you, my friend. Banjo Watson, hello from the UK. So another friend and viewer from the UK. So it's nice to see you, Banjo Watson. Scalder22 is here. Hello. Jimbo asks, Infernal Affairs trilogy, are you in? Yes, yes. You're speaking, I'm assuming, about the Criterion Collection release of the Infernal Affairs trilogy. So yes, I do have those films on separate releases, but it'll be nice to see what this new Criterion release has in store. So it hasn't arrived yet. What is it? It's not released yet, is it? It's or is it? I forget. But I'm always it's hard for me to wrap my head around the precise release dates because I live in Japan and the item takes a little bit of time beyond the release date to arrive here. So I always lose track of it. I always forget which is meant to be released this coming Tuesday or what has been. So I don't know yet. So, for instance, I think was it Power of the Dog that hasn't arrived yet in my at my doorstep. So although I have ordered it, so we'll see when it arrives. But any event, yes. Okay. Future Wizard 97 says, I finally got Konoha. Oh, Konoha, A Shameful Memory the other day, and I can't wait to watch it. Hopefully, it would be great to. Oh, great. So, Konoha, A Shameful Memory. Yes, I've spoken about this and in fact, maybe I can just show it right now. Yes, it's right on the shelf. So excuse me for one moment. Yes, it's right here. So, yes, you're speaking of this work, right? There we go. Konoha, A Shameful Memory. And this is the Criterion Blu-ray, which is at spy number 862. So I've spoken about this work very much. And it is uh, it is a really overwhelming work. And I when I first saw it, I admit I wasn't quite prepared for what it was that I was about to see. And as it was unfolding and the way it arranges the type of use of time and chronology, as well as the interaction with, or perhaps a type of reckoning with history in a manner of speaking, that and indeed the type of impact that it has. It's a very impactful work, very startling, very shocking, and very clever in how it portrays a style of what one might call a type of subjectivity and reportage. So really quite excellent. So I hope that when you watch it, yes, please let me know anytime you get a chance to see it. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it anytime. Really wonderful. So let's see. Oh, Magic Alice here. Greetings from Liverpool. Oh, here we go. Yes, another. It's nice to see you, my dear friend, again from Liverpool. So I visited Liverpool once in my life. So many years ago. Again, love to be able to visit again one day if the chance presents itself. Oh, great. Matthew Lockwood says you're redecorating. Okay, with your main viewing space with plants. Oh, that's very good. I hope that you enjoy your redecorating experience and that you end up finding a good what is it? A good environment that has a sense of relaxation and peace with it. Looking forward to what the final result will look like. Please let me know anytime. I'd love to hear about it, my dear friend. Thank you. Let's see. There's a little bit of a light on the back. That's pretty bright, isn't it? Oh, that's pretty bright. It's nice. Let's see. It's nice to get sunlight, but I think what I'll do is I'll just block this because it's the glare is, I know it's a little bit shiny. So let me use I'll put a laser disc up just to take care of this. Let's see. We can use one of these. Which one shall we use? Okay, here we go. This is, um, I have a number of discs that also are doubles. So over the years, I don't have two of everything, but every once in a while, I'll make a purchase of something that I already have due to one reason or another, and I leave those doubles here on this bottom shelf. So here we go. Okay, so I will see about doing this. Let's put this one up. This is a good one. You know, Ghostbusters used to be on the Criterion Collection on the Laserdisc. Now, um, whoa, something fell in the back. I'll pick that up. But that is, yes, Ghostbusters used to be Criterion Collection Laserdisc, and wow, what a Laserdisc release this was, and is, I should say. So, in any event, it would be nice to see Ghostbusters back in the Criterion Collection one of these days. Yeah. Um, I was gonna say hello, Dana, but that's from Ghostbusters too. So, right, is there something strange in the neighborhood? Who are you gonna call? He-Man. So that's Ghostbusters too. Anyway, it would be nice to see Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2, I suppose, in the Criterion Collection one of these days. But yeah, right. There's a bear in his apartment. Yeah, okay. So let's see. Michael Hewitt says Halloween 4K set looks very nice. Oh, very nice indeed. Um, uh, let's see here. Jose Garay says I've just bought my Ultra HD 4K player. Well done, well done. I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much. Yes. Oh, Pedro E is here. Hello. Let's see. Jacob Del Rio says, I don't remember your jawline looking so chiseled. Thank you very much. Are you training for marathon? Do I have a chiseled jawline today? Thank you. Is it more chiseled than usual? Thank you so much for that, Jacob. That's very kind for you to notice. I don't have any. I guess I don't have. Maybe it's the haircut. I don't know. Um, or maybe it's the lighting. I'm not sure. But no, I'm not training for anything in particular. I do exercise, but at the moment, nothing. Not for any particular uh, marathon, or I don't run marathons or anything like that sort. So, but thank you very much for noticing. It's very kind of you. Matthew is here, and you say, "Oh, great! You saw Decision to Leave. That hasn't. I haven't been able to catch up with that one. I don't know what the release schedule is like in Japan, to be perfectly honest, but because it doesn't always correspond the same, say, in other parts of the world like North America or the UK, etc. But I'll try to catch up with that when I can. Matthew, thank you so much. Jimbo says, "What are you drinking?" So coffee. This is coffee. Um, she says, "I've just gotten and watched the Hellraiser DVD documentary Leviathan." Okay, well done, well done. Yes, I've mentioned before how much I really I love those films, Hellraiser and Hellbound Hellraiser 2. And right, the and it was the poster and that art and that picture of Doug Bradley on the front that really I mean, you saw that on the wall in whatever video store you were in. And I was in the UK at the time. It's in late '80s, and it was a big deal. And what is this? This is really. And then before one knew it, then you had a similar poster, but it was for Hellbound Hellraiser 2. It was amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So really great, and right, it was. Like so many things were happening in those films. In particular, it was very hard for me to comprehend as a kid watching it for the first time, and just what is it am I seeing here? And this idea of a type of this relationship between exploration and sexuality and the way in which the film handles it in the context of the story and the characters, and this notion of sadomasochism. And there are a lot of concepts that were very much beyond my grasp when I first saw it, but still there were so many other things that were very visceral and very much quite in your face. So in a manner of speaking. So it's well done. Well done indeed. Seth Walsh is here. It's nice to see you. So you say, just stopping by to say hello, and I thoroughly enjoyed my recent viewings of Cure, Diamonds of the Night, and La Jetée Sans Soleil. Cannot wait for my next trip to Barnes & Noble. Cheers. Well done, Seth. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, Cure, the Kurosawa work, Kiyoshi Kurosawa work, which I also have received and have seen. I haven't quite finished everything in terms of my full exploration of that release from Criterion, but I've seen the film many times, and uh, yeah, it's really creepy. That film is very creepy indeed. So well done, Seth. Thank you. Pedro ES, are you a fellow Lafroig appreciator? So you're asking about Lafroig. So yes, I do enjoy the occasional uh, the occasional um, uh, um, glass. Yes, not every day, unfortunately, but yes, I do like Lafroig, and I do like Isla. Uh, I like Isla whiskeys very much. So very big fan. So Lafroig or Lagavulin or Artbag. Yeah, I must say too that I'm quite fond of like what is it Campbelltown as well. So like Springbank, and I really like Springbank very much. And let's see, but I do like the I do like my what is it my Isla Pete. So thank you so much, Pedro. So I'm assuming that you are very much maybe in a similar situation as I. So thank you so much. Haruko is here. Hello. Brian Ryan is here. Hello. Jovial Josh is here. Hello. Yes. Jimbo says hello from Connecticut. Oh, you're in Connecticut. So I used to live in Stamford. Well, no, I went to school in Stamford, Connecticut. I used to live in Darien, Connecticut. I had many friends who lived in Stamford, Connecticut, New Canaan, Connecticut as well. This was many years ago. Went to school in New Haven, Connecticut. Um, but I haven't been to Connecticut in so long, so I know it's a lot's changed since I last was there. So, but yeah, what is it, the Merritt Parkway? Is that still there? The Merritt Parkway, and um, I mentioned it earlier somewhere in some previous live stream, but I remember going to the movie theater in New Canaan, Connecticut, to watch Batman Returns. So that was very interesting indeed. And I remember for whatever reason the theater, or was it Stanford or Norwalk? I forget exactly where. Was there even a? I don't even know if there was a movie theater. Well, there actually no, there was a movie theater in Norwalk when I was there, right? Oh gosh, it's been so long. I know the Blockbuster, when Blockbusters were opening up, the one that I would go to the most frequently of the Blockbuster stores would be the one in Norwalk, Connecticut. That was near, what was the store at the time? Caldor or Bradley's, I think it was at the time. Anyone who knows Norwalk, Connecticut, please let me know. But in any event, yes. So that was my in Connecticut. There was a place in it was called Rowayton, Connecticut. The station Rowayton, and that was actually the place where it's not there anymore, I think, but it was where that was the video store that I would have gone to the most as a kid, which is called the Roxy. And so the Roxy had all these great it was wonderful. It was like I think back on that, and I wish I could have shown my appreciation more to that great store than I did. But it was a great place, and when right the first thing you'd see when you'd walk through the door and enter would be on the top there. You'd see a little poster, and the poster would be of a Razorhead. So it's a little indication of what kind of store it was. It was magic, absolutely great. Let's see. Shub Films is here. Hello. A horrible show. Tanner's here. Happy Friday, Saturday. It's nice to see you. Tanner Carruthers is here. Hello. Will is here. Hello. Haruko says, I got a bunch at the Criterion sale. So Barnes & Noble, well done. And it all shipped except for my Power of the Dog pre-order. So is it, I hope it's good. I hope you got some good titles, my dear friend. Jared is here. It's nice to see you. You say you have to run. That's okay. But you say you got some Criterion's Boyhood, pre-ordered Malcolm X, and you also got Dazed and Confused. Oh, and you'll say, rest in peace to Kevin Conroy. Oh, did he passed away today? I didn't catch that news. Oh gosh, that is very sad news indeed. Oh my goodness, that's very very sad. Um, oh gosh, Chi says, let's see, kind of live near me. So you're living in down south of England. Okay. Oh wow, so kind of close by there. So that's nice. Let's see. Um, Jovial Josh says, hello, Daisuke. I have a question for you. I know you mainly cover prestigious titles like Criterion, but if you had to pick a favorite mainstream franchise, what would it be? Example, Star Wars, Marvel, etc. Okay, so just to kind of, I guess I wouldn't necessarily consider myself covering quote unquote prestigious titles per se. Um, and I guess Criterion titles are they're fun to talk about, I suppose, and they're fun to watch. I wouldn't necessarily look at them as quote unquote prestigious, but I very much appreciate the approach to that, my dear friend. Um, and also I don't talk only about Criterion titles, of course, but I understand the question. And so then you speak about mainstream franchise films. I haven't seen all of the Marvel films right now. I know of them, and I know kind of the storyline. And I've seen films that have a relationship to them. For instance, the Spider-Man films. So I've seen the Spider-Man films, particularly because my son loves Spider-Man. So we saw we saw Spider-Man together, my kids and I. So that would, but of course you have to have it has connections with other stories, other characters. So I admit I wasn't quite up to speed with those aspects of the storyline. Like No Way Home, I wasn't quite up to speed with exactly what was happening with this character, that character. But for the main part of the story, I could follow along, and that was the same for my kids. So I enjoy that. I enjoy that very much. Um, you know, yeah. I mean, I guess I could talk about it. But there's one particular scene that really got to me, and there are a number of scenes that got to me in that film. But there's one scene in particular that really got to me, and so it was a really. I thought that was a very entertaining film. But in terms of I guess franchises or let's see. Uh, I guess I mean I have spoken about, for example, James Bond films on this channel in live stream discussions, if you want to call that a quote unquote mainstream franchise. Then yeah, I could answer the question in that way. I really love James Bond films, really love them. Of course, if I had to rank them, maybe there might be certain films that I might prefer more than others. Exactly. So I've it's an interesting thing because actually this past week I have been recently revisiting or revisiting the film No Time to Die. So um, it's a film that I admit I kind of um, um, I struggle with a little bit. So, but I'm trying to rewatch it and rewatch it, and try to get a certain handle on where it was that I was struggling with before, and seeing how I might be able to uh, reassess it or reapproach it in a different way. So, very interesting film indeed, that's for sure. If I had to pick my favorite James Bond film, it's A View to a Kill. Um, I love A View to a Kill, and then I love On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and then I love The Living Daylights. So that would be, I think, maybe or approximately my that would be up there in terms of if I had to rank them now. A View to a Kill, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, Living Daylights, From Russia with Love. That would be a Spy Who Loved Me. I think that would be the the case. My favorite James Bond, probably. I think they all bring great performance attributes in their own ways. But I grew up in the '80s, and so the first Bond that I remember seeing was Roger Moore. And so Roger Moore, I think, is it's like, if you're fans of Doctor Who, and who is your doctor? It's a similar type of question. Who is your James Bond? And I think for me, because of that generational, the way that I came to James Bond and my age and the timing, for me, it would be Roger Moore, followed very closely, of course, by Timothy Dalton, because it came in that period of the '80s, 85, '87, A View to a Kill, Living Daylights, and '89, right, right, it was '89 that was License to Kill. So, but anyway, um, uh, right, so it was really wonderful. I remember too okay, so that would be one franchise I could say. I'm also, yes, I am a big fan. um, I do like Star Wars very much, although I don't know. I haven't seen. I'll be perfectly honest. Maybe I'm not so into it as much now as I was before, and so but I do enjoy Star Wars. I also like. If we're talking about like superhero films, so I very much enjoyed um, the Batman films. Very much enjoyed the Batman films. Uh, right, again, starting from the first one, and we're talking about the films, which is Tim Burton's Batman, and I mentioned earlier Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and then Batman and Robin. Those are fun times. Although I must admit, it, right. I'm not right. It's not my favorite Batman film ever. My Batman Forever or Batman and Robin, but like what was it? Let's kick some ice. Right, and you can see Mr. Freeze's teeth glow, I think, in that phrase. Or like, I like the bit when Mr. Freeze goes into whatever is it, that ball or something, that dance ball or whatever, that gala, and he says, "All right, everyone, chill, chill." So I love how he repeats the word "chill," and he says, "Chill, chill." Chill. I love that. That was so cool. And then also the what was it? Uh, gosh. The right. I was there. I mean, I heard the groans. I saw Batman and Robin in the theater, and I still remember the groans from the audience when the Batman credit card came up. So I thought that was. I mean, it was just. I guess if you're Batman, if I were Batman, I I would think, okay, should I make my own credit card? I think it's worthwhile. I mean, I think maybe I might. I mean, I'm doing a lot for Gotham City, right? I guess I could say that maybe I could feel like it's not bragging if I think that I'm deserving of at least some kind of line of credit, you know. So right, so the Batman credit card, it came and went, you know. I also like the line from Batman Forever when they're trying to infiltrate the fortress of the Riddler there, and they go on the outside there, and Robin says, you know, "Holy rusted metal, Batman." And Batman says, "Huh? You know, the metal, it's full of holes. It's, you know, it's rusty or something, or it's holy or something." I totally flubbed that last part of it, but I love that line, "Holy rusted metal, Batman," in Batman Forever. And of course, Jim Carrey is the Riddler, and he says something like, "What does he say?" He says, um, let's see, gosh, there's so many lines that he says. Um, right. And who's Two Face? Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones is Two Face, right? He's always like like 11. Two Face, right? Tommy Lee Jones Two Face there, and he never had the good side of him. He always had the bad side. He says, "Let's start this party with a bang," and then boom, the thing crashes behind him, and then it's like, uh, right. And then the Riddler is like, you know, "Are we all being? I will help you solve the mother of the. I will solve the greatest riddle of all, the mother of all riddles. Who is Batman?" Right. So, um, right. Very interesting. Very interesting. And then, of course, we get into some of the later incarnations of the Batman character, with Batman Begins and The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. Um, so have I done it before? Have I done my Batman impression before? Maybe I have, but I've forgotten if I have. But it's a pretty bad one. But it's so. I guess that's the one that's oft quoted, which is, you know, "Swear to me," or um, uh, you know, I have to get into characters. I'm in a lot of pain, but he's, "This city just showed you, and it's full of people ready to believe in good." Right, or something like that. That's the line. Did I? Is it? I think I messed it up. There's maybe I got it one part of it or parts from, but anyway. So, um, he's got that's got to do a number on his throat. You know, right? Sore throats abound, I'm sure, with Bruce Wayne. I'm sure Alfred is trying to help Bruce Wayne with you know, sore throat medicine. I'm sure, because that sounds pretty painful. It takes its toll. It certainly does. So I'm sure there are other ways to, maybe, I mean, I don't know, maybe you could have done a voice, a voice, something to some kind of mechanic or a mechanism to alter his voice, some kind of voice box or something. That would have been really, you know, like um, I mean, right? Uh, Maybe you could have a voice box, so then Batman could speak, and it sounds like the voice of James Earl Jones, for instance. That would be really cool, you know. And be like, right, apology accepted. You know. Anyway, sorry, Captain Nita. Sorry about that. So, uh, "Swear to me," and the like, and the things like that. And of course, going back to the Tim Burton Batman, right? It was "Get me Lieutenant Eckhart," with the it's so great. Yeah, so many memories of that too. Um, "You are my number one guy." Yeah. And you know, the great bat dance, and the like, and how and the scene with the Smilex, that scared me. And I remember too, I had Batman trading cards, because they sold Batman trading cards. You can get them with their like baseball cards that they were just trading, and and I collected them all. It was so cool. But there was a picture of what was the newscaster's name in that film? Becky, I think her name was. But and then there's a scene involving a news broadcast and Smilex, And I remember that when that came up, that scared me so much, that kind of close up on a particular character. Oh, and it was shown in that trading card. So whenever I flipped through my trading cards, and that trading card came, it was around the middle of the pack. When that came up, it was very scary, very scary. But anyway, gosh, Batman. That was really wonderful, wonderful film. Billy D. Williams, right, as Harvey Dent. That's very cool. And right, Vicky Vale, right? Do you ever dance in the devil in the pale moonlight? Come on, let's get nuts. So a lot of great memories of that. But anyway, I'm sorry. So yes, I hope that answered the question. I apologize for going totally off track here, but I hope you're well, my dear friend. Thank you. Let's see. Shub Films says, I'm a new subscriber. I've only recently gotten seriously into film and have just started film school. Oh, well done. Congratulations. And I hope you enjoy film school. And also, thank you very much for subscribing. I'm very appreciative of it. Thank you. Your videos are so enlightening to watch. Especially love the Edward Yang series. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. Oh, yes, I'm a big fan of Edward Yang films. So thank you so much. Please, I hope that you have so much great experience with your film school studies. Very much looking forward to, yes, hearing about those experiences whenever you have the moment. Well done and congratulations. Hope that you enjoy your studies very much. Ilias M is here and say, hi Daisuke, so what made you move to Tokyo? Oh, so I'm Japanese by birth, so and I like um, I like Japan very much, and also I I have a lot of connections. I can say with say living in the States and also living in the United Kingdom too, right? But I also have I feel like I have strong connections in my own way with Japan. And then as for Tokyo, there were a lot of, say, job opportunities at the time available that I think made living in Tokyo perhaps the most ideal when it came to job opportunities. So, and as well as just living in Tokyo proper. I've never, when I first moved here, I wasn't, I don't, I wasn't living, say, in the city proper, or I wasn't living in the central hub area of this. Now I would say that I live kind of in the central, but it's a little bit still. I would say I'm living in Tokyo, and I am. It's not quite in the very 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 center of the metropolis, but it's just somewhere on it's kind of the inward circle of the outskirts, so to speak. So, or the outskirts of the inward circles, right? I should switch that up. Etienne, hello Etienne. You say greetings, Daisuke. I wish there was a boutique release of After Hours. Oh, interesting. So yes, After Hours. I was just recently rewatching that. Very very fascinating. You know, I don't know if it was. I don't know how if this is ever going to happen, but I did right. If it were released by say Criterion, for example, that would be very very exciting indeed. Jimbo says November 15th for Infernal Affairs, talking about the earlier conversation. Thank you. So that is coming up. So well done. Image Ally is here. Thank you. It's nice to see you. You say, went to my local B&N, Barnes & Noble, picked up Detour, Rumblefish, Criterion sale. Going back for personal phase, Repo Man and Blue Velvet. They're not in 4K. Yes, Blue Velvet is, right. Blue Velvet is kind of like, you know, what to borrow a phrase from Blue Velvet, it's kind of like a love letter straight to your heart, right? Let's see. Dan Inbox. Hello, Dan. It's nice to see you. You say, hi, Daisuke. I have a question. Did you ever watch Godfather Coda? If so, did you prefer it over the original Godfather 3? Yeah, so I did watch Godfather Coda. What is it? Godfather Coda, The Death of Michael Corleone. I think that's the official title. And so I'm very much yes, I'm very much I do love the Godfather films very much, and I must say that I do, how should I put it? I am a I am a I'm a big fan of Godfather Part Three, and if some of you know, even in the various release versions of Godfather Part Three, there have been a number of different versions, as you know. Um, I'm sorry, like before. I'm sorry. I'll get to this more, but let me just there's mentioning of Kevin Conroy, so let me just I'll save this. I just pulled this off the shelf, so let me revisit some of these at a later moment. So I remember watching. I was there when the first episode of Batman the animated series aired on TV, not knowing what to expect. It's quite a thunderbolt. But anyway, yes. So going back to your question about Godfather, so I I I really do like Godfather Part Three, that version of it. And so when the news about the Godfather coda, the death of Michael Corleone, that version of it would be coming up, I was also very intrigued and quite excited. And I did get the Blu-ray and I watched the Blu-ray, and I must say that uh, there are some choices that were made for the version of Godfather Coda that do mark it as being different than Godfather Part 3. Some of those choices are, I think, very successful. Other choices, I would say, are, at least from my subjective viewpoint, not as successful as how I feel about Godfather Part 3. So, taking everything into consideration, all things being equal, the sum total of all those parts, I would say that I prefer The Godfather Part 3 over The Godfather Coda. That being said, there are, as I say, some elements of The Godfather Coda that are undeniably very, very powerful and very effective, and indeed more effective than how they similarly appeared in The Godfather Part 3. Case in point, or one example, I don't want to get into too much detail for anyone who hasn't seen either version of the third installments, let's say, of this story, of cinema story about the Corleone family. But in The Godfather 3, or in the story, there's a character who's named Lucchese. And so there is a scene involving Lucchese that is depicted uh, in The Godfather 3 one way, and it's depicted the same or similar situation is depicted, but it's depicted in quite a startlingly different way in The Godfather Coda. And so I find that as an example of being something where I think The Godfather Coda is very, very effective indeed. And this is also something that, again, I'm trying to be as vague as possible here, but this is something, a detail that I recall Francis Ford Coppola himself made reference to, either in a documentary or in a making of a book or something about this particular moment, what he had intended for this particular moment, what ended up happening for the theatrical release version of Godfather Part 3, but then what ended up happening again for purposes of refitting and preparation for the Godfather Coda version. So, yeah, so that's kind of how I'm trying to be as vague as possible here. I mean, it goes to um, right, many other things. It doesn't feel as um, like as organic. I think we can start with the start of the film as well, how each of the films opens. You know, Godfather he opens in a way that is different than how Godfather Coda opens, and I understand from a sort of artistic level. Again, I'm not an artist when when I say I understand from an artistic level, I should take that back because that sounds very presumptuous on my part. So I apologize. So I don't mean it that I didn't mean it that way. What I meant was from say the from the perspective of parallelism or paralleling to say how the Godfather opens. I understand the choice made, or I can understand why, or I can assume why the choice was made to open the Godfather Coda the way it does open. And I get that. And it works in terms of a parallel with how the first film opens. That being said, for me, there is a type of organic quality, a type of easing one's way back into the world after being away for so long. Because if you remember, Godfather Part 3 was released in 1990. This was over 10 years, 15 years or so since The Godfather Part 2, right, from 74. So you had the span of over 15 years in terms of the cinema film releases, not to mention the span of years that had passed in the world of the film. And so the opening of Godfather Part 3 and Lake Tahoe and the slow reveal and reminding us of these images that were very present and prevalent in Godfather Part 2, and then easing us slowly back into this world. Then we get into the transition very soon after with the current situation of where the characters find themselves in Godfather Part 3 in New York. So that ease of transition I felt was very effective. The slow camera going across, say, the empty, desolate shots of the abandoned house, Lake Tahoe, for example. So this is all that was a very effective opening for me, and I felt therefore that it had a type of, in many ways, a type of poetic rhythmic quality, in such that each film, Godfather, opens in its own unique way, which I thought was very effective, very, very effective indeed. One can say that um, we have Godfather opening in a way with Buonasera. Of course, the very, very famous phrase that opens the film, which is "I believe in America," and so that is a very, very stark and very bold way to open. And this idea of the contrast that's presented from the very get-go, in terms of morality and immorality, and the idea of the promise of the American dream or the corruptibility, however one takes the story of the Godfather. So that it's all embodied in that first moment of the first film. And the second film opens with, you have the credits, and so there's a type of way in which the opening credits of The Godfather Part 2 work with the world. But if we go into the first moment of the film after the end of the credits, we go back to Sicily and Vito Andolini. And so this again is another bold and different approach, and it's telling us immediately that we are dealing with a story that is about the past, and it is about the rise from the past. And so if you know The Godfather Part 2, you know that, yes, The Godfather Part 2 is structured specifically to indeed engage with us and engage with the past in a very complex relationship. So that opening is therefore very, very significant. And it opens too with a distant shot and titles or explanatory comments that appear on one side of the frame to explain to begin what essentially is the biography of this character who is Vito Andolini. So that is another, and it's different from how the first film opens. So I thought that in many ways the difference between the two was the poetic parallelism that was happening, which was brilliant. And then so if you have Part 3 in that same vein, it opens in its own different and unique way, which is a type of revisiting of, it's an interesting thing because it's almost like a mixture of the two. Because if you say the first film opens in the present and then the second film opens in the past, the third film, Part 3 anyway, the version of Part 3 opens with a type of melding of the two. We're going to places of the past, namely settings and sceneries and environments and locales of Godfather Part 2, namely Lake Tahoe. But we are looking at it in a way that we are questioning, is this the past or is this the scene of Lake Tahoe now where we find the film? And so we are left wondering, is this the past or the present? And when we see also reference to a letter that's being written by someone, and we understand immediately that it's being written by Michael Corleone. We understand too, and it's with regard to his children, Anthony and Mary. We understand too that this is also about his future, and indeed their future. So indeed we have the past, the present, and the future all entwined in this opening montage of sorts that opens The Godfather Part 3. So I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was a really brilliant way to open that. And it, in fact, is a great complement to the first film and the second film. And it also paves its own way. Now, all that's gone when you have the opening of the in terms of Godfather Coda, and so I'm still reckoning with that. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that, I don't quite prefer that. I prefer the Godfather Part 3 version in that way, as an example. Uh, but there are other parts of Godfather Coda that I think are brilliant. So anyway, sorry about that. I'm just going off here. So Kieran C is here. It's nice to see you. Andre is here. It's nice to see you. Let's see. Rob, the old mongoose, is here. It's nice to see you. So Doctor Who, yes. I don't have all of the sets or the DVDs, but I do have my a few here and there. Excuse me. I'm sorry, just scrolling down here. Let's see. Crapping Cat is here. Hello. You say just finished watching Flowers of Shanghai. Oh, well done. And you say for the first time. Wow. Thank you. Horrible show. Tanner says, if y'all have never seen his pinhead impression, it's really good. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Um, gosh, don't tempt me. Oh no, oh gosh. I can't do a good pinhead impression now. Maybe my voice is not so good, and I was never able to do it justice anyway. But we want the man who did this, or something, or um, not leaving us so soon, are you? You know, so that's sorry. It's very terrible. Sorry, very very terrible. Can't do it today. All right. Etienne says, I was wondering what kind of video setup you use for your home theater experience projector TV. So I thank you for asking. I don't have a projector. It's a TV. There's a 4K TV that we have in the main room, not this room, but the main room. That's used for family viewing primarily. But whenever I want to watch a film using that 4K display, and there's also a 4K player there, not here, but there. If I want to watch a title that might maybe not be appropriate for family viewing, and I'll wait until everyone is asleep or everyone's out of the house and I'm alone. I can watch it on that TV display there. But here in the room, it's off camera. There's a small TV. It's hooked up to a Blu-ray player and then a Laserdisc player, and then also a VHS, VCR. So very very small. But I watch a lot of works on there. Let's see here. Chicker says, I got to see Dawn of the Dead in theaters a few days ago. Wow. The opening of the film with the music slowly rising in tension and chaos spreads in the broadcasting room was amazing. Yes, yes. Uh, right. Oh gosh, I love that film. I really, really love that film. Right. Oh gosh, that's a great film. It's fact, you know, or something like, get someone in here who can run this thing, you know, turn it off, right? That guy in the studio there when turn it off, turn it. I love that guy in the studio. For anyone who knows the opening of Dawn of the Dead, and I love that red carpet wall that opens. That's so cool. I wish I could I could have a wall that's covered in that same red carpet. Oh, that would be so cool. Could you just imagine? I'd just be, oh wow, you know, I would understand. I understand why Fran is so like sleeping against the wall. I mean, it must be very comfortable to have your head resting against that. But anyway, um, yeah, that's great. Right. Talking about the inoperative rescue stations. Half of those are inoperative as of now. Charlie, these are rescue stations. We can't send people to inoperative rescue stations or something. Right. So anyway, I'm so glad you were able to catch up with it. So well done. Um, let's see. Eddie's Films and Stuff is here. Hello, it's nice to see you. You say hello, Daisuke. Every time I watch a Criterion, I go and see if you've done a video on it. Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you. I'm very honored. Very, very honored. Let's see. Just watched Double Indemnity in your video and enjoyed both. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, so Double Indemnity. That is a great release from from right from some time back. It was yeah, straight down the line for both of us. It's really quite remarkable, and that release is really great indeed. So well done. Let's see. Fallen X 100. It's nice to see you as always. Sono and Pink Films. Yes, I haven't spoken about Pink Films per se, or the works of Sono specifically. Uh, uh, there's mention of Chi and Horrible Shows talking about Hellraiser films. I haven't seen this new Hellraiser film yet either. Will says, in your last live stream, you mentioned a quote from Mike Lee's Naked. Oh, thank you for remembering. I'm very, I'm very honored that you remember that. Thank you. Is it the one about being inside your head? Oh, okay. Um, uh, okay, I'll say it's the one, and one character says to another character, "Don't waste your life." That's the quote. Yeah, don't waste your life. Yeah, yeah. So I'm sorry, just scrolling down here. Um, let's see, just scrolling down. Sorry if I'm skipping over some comments. So Chi mentions Doctor Sleep. That's a very interesting coincidence because I watched Doctor Sleep very recently for the first time, and very interesting. Very interesting. I was quite perplexed in some areas, but I was very impressed in other areas. And so it walks a very fine line, and I think uh, quite successfully in terms of where it's trying to position itself in terms of its relationship with the novel and its relationship with the film, The Shining. So really quite fascinating indeed. So yeah, yeah. So um, very fascinating. Um, let's see. Oh, Pedro's occasional single malt with a Cuban cigar is heavenly. So yes, I'm not a smoker, but yes, single malt. I do enjoy the occasional drink here and there. I can't drink every day now. Uh, I wasn't that that strong of a drinker to begin with, but every once in a while, I think. Hunter's here. It's nice to see you. Um, David Calhoun is also here. Nice to see you. Let's see. It's scrolling down here. Magic Al says, watching Twin Peaks. And so I have 2 episodes of Twin Peaks to go. Really enjoyed your videos. Any plans for 2017 series or firework? Yes, and yes, those will happen. I've been a little bit behind schedule um, because of certain things that have come up recently, but yes, those will happen. Oh, Pedro is speaking of Zawalski. Yes, that's right. Haruko's mentioning Chicago. Oh, interesting. Um, what's that line? Um, uh, no, I'm no one's wife, but oh, I love my life, right? And all that, right? So okay. So let's see. Seth Walsh mentions a new Daniel Craig commercials. I haven't seen the commercial here, unfortunately. So, all right. So, what's going on here? Oh, Katarina's here. It's nice to see you. Um, oh, horrible show. You don't have to delete the comment from Katarina. She says in French, "Bonsoir mon ami, je suis en retard," which if my French is accurate, she's saying, "Good evening, my friend. I am late." So, Katerina says, "Yes. Sorry about that. Um, it was sorry about the comment deletion. No offense meant at all. I hope it's okay. Katerina, it's always nice to see you. And I read your comment recently about your. You mentioned a little bit about your background in one of the video discussions. You left a comment which I've read. I haven't responded yet. I apologize for the delay in my response, but I have read it, and it's a really lovely comment. Thank you very much, Katerina. I hope you're well, mon ami. Merci beaucoup. Pardonnez-moi pour, mais je ne peux parler français très bien. Merci beaucoup, mon ami. So, anyway. Yes, so Katerina, my deepest apologies for the comment deletion. Nothing, no ill will is meant at all. Chi says DC and Marvel is pretty much dead. Marvel ended after Endgame for me. So okay. Let's see here. Just scrolling down here. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Oh, I see some mention here of the what is it? The Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power. So I haven't seen this either. You know, I do love the Lord of the Rings. Read it quite a bit. I still do, and the film versions too. Right. Let's see. Oh gosh, run you fools! Right, you know, like you know, one of the right. The so many slow motion elements in the Peter Jackson films. One of the slow motion scenes is from Fellowship, right? Right. So yeah, so that was a very that was a very memorable moment in the film when it came up. So all right, so scrolling down here. All right, let's see. Oh, horrible show! Thank you so much. That's very very kind of you. You left behind a super chat. That's very kind of you. And you say, "Let's kick some ice." Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh. All right. Oh, I see a discussion about. I'm at the point about franchises. It seems like it's a very, how should I put it? A very uh, interesting discussion that happened in the live chat about franchises. So, yeah. Luke mentions the Halloween franchise. Oh, interesting. So I haven't seen Halloween Ends yet. I've kind of heard what happened, so kind of know what happened. So I guess it's kind of spoiled for me, but I look forward to watching it when I get a chance. So I'll try to check that when it has a chance. Haruko asks a little bit later, Daisuke, what do you think of 3D? Um, I was I mean, I enjoy 3D experiences, although it's not necessarily something that I must have every single time. So I mean, it's not a film per se, but I remember when I was a kid, my mom, dad, and they took me to go to Universal Studios, the theme park, And one of the things that we were able to do was go on, what was it, the tour or something? It was, or it was the Alfred Hitchcock section of whatever it was. And I hope I have this right. It was the Universal Studios tour, I think. But anyway, it was this kind of show where you could experience the films of Alfred Hitchcock. And one of the parts of the experience of that attraction was to experience things in 3D. And so we had, I think it was glasses, 3D glasses that you put on, and you watch the screen, whatever it was, and you'd see the bit where the birds, the film The Birds from '63, the birds would come up, and it would be in 3D. So it'd be, wow, it'd be really. So I was watching it, and my mom and dad were sitting next to me. My dad was sitting next to me here, and I was watching it in this kind of theater situation where this attraction was set up, and it was really exciting. You're seeing the birds, and you're seeing the birds in 3D. I, you know, it was, wow. Okay, the birds are in 3D, and I was looking over and seeing my dad next to me, and he was watching the same thing as I was, and he had the glasses on, and this was such I think this is one of the kind of the warmest memories I have of my father. I was looking at him sitting next to me. I was looking at him watching the 3D version of this part of the birds, and he was going like this with his hands. He was going like this. He was he was trying to wave off the birds. So it was I was I that's a very endearing moment. My father, and so and it was, yeah. So that's probably my favorite 3D viewing experience. And so really great thing. That's one of the things about, and it wasn't necessarily a film, but it was something about a film. So personally, I don't. If I watch the film The Birds, Alfred Hitchcock's film The Birds, I prefer to watch it not in 3D. If I had a choice between watching a film in 3D versus, if I went to a theater and you had the same film and the same showtime, one showtime the 3D version, the other would be non 3D version. I'd probably opt for the non 3D version. That's my choice. But if most of the time, but if it was a film like, say, if I went to the same theater and it was saying, okay, you can choose one of two versions. You can choose this Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D or non 3D. Which one? I'd go for the 3D version, definitely. To see popcorn fly in your face in 3D, gosh, or to see a yo-yo, right? Oh, it'd be so cool, I love those scenes in Friday the 13th Part 3 where people are just doing something. Oh, hey, look at this. Look at that. That's, wow, look at, I love, right, so, or Jaws 3 or Jaws 3D, that would be really cool. But anyway, so yeah. Oh, Battle Royale. I see there's a section here about Battle Royale. Very interesting. Very interesting film. Yes, and there's also the mention here 1 and 2. Yes. Scrolling down. Film Watcher 96 says, "Do you collect Arrow video stuff?" I don't collect Arrow video like everything, but I do have my share. For instance, let's see. I was watching. What was I I was watching recently? This past week, I was revisiting the Phantasm films that I have in that Arrow box set. Do I have it here somewhere? Maybe I do. Oh yes, it's right here. Hold on. So do you? I don't know if they don't have this anymore. Is it out of print? I'm not sure. But the one with the ball. Here we go. So I was just rewatching the Phantasm films. And so that's one example. Of course, it's not the only Arrow release ever made, but it was. So this is the one with the, yes, it has the inside. You can get the ball. Yes, that's a very cool thing. So, and it has everything up to Ravager, which a very interesting series of films indeed. I wouldn't say that I was. I wouldn't. I'm not. I don't think Phantasm films are the scariest films that have been made. But I think they're so cool as action action fantasy films. Really cool. And so and a type of do-it-yourself DIY spirit. That is, I think, independent spirit. And for the most part, I mean, for those of you who know fans like Phantasm 2, I think it's a slightly different situation, but you know what I mean, where it came from, Coscarelli and the like. So really very cool indeed. Let's see. So what were the other ones? So I also recently got the Arrow release of. Is it here somewhere? I don't think so. No, it's on the table. So it's of Videodrome, 4K, and the Shawscope Volume 2. It should be on its way. I got that on the pre-order, but it hasn't arrived yet. I don't know if it's been officially released yet. I'm not sure, but in any event, yeah. So, all right, scroll down. Kine Tos. Toast. So hello, it's nice to see you. You say hi there, Daisuke. Just wanted to say I finally picked up A Brighter Summer Day per your passionate recommendation. Can't wait to finally watch it once it arrives. So thank you so much. That's really, really kind of you. Thank you. I do like that film tremendously, very much, very much. Thank you so much for that. That really brightens my spirits. You mentioning that film to me in that way. It's very kind of you. Oh, there's discussion here of Tarantino. Yes. Sharu is here. Hello. It's nice to see you. You ask about war films this month. Criterion recommendations: Four Feathers, Long Voyage Home, Ninth Parallel, In Which We Serve. It's a very kind of it's a pretty intense viewing experience. There are a lot of examples. I think the one that perhaps comes to mind for a lot of people, it's very intense work though. Very, very intense. It's called Come and See. So let's see. So, again, scrolling down here. And I hope you're well, my friend. Thank you. Let's see, scrolling down. All right. Gutter Baby is here. So hello. And you say, hi, Daisuke. Are you subscribed to the Criterion channel? Have you discovered anything interesting on there recently? So thank you very much for the question. And no, I'm not a subscriber to the Criterion channel. So the Criterion channel is not officially offered here in Japan. So I don't subscribe to it. I think I'd love the opportunity to subscribe to the Criterion channel. I think it's a really great resource. Really, really cool. So, let's see. Oh, Davey, Devolution is here. It's nice to see you. You mentioned From Dusk Till Dawn. I saw that in the theater when it was released. I thought it was really cool. I love, what is it, Harvey Keitel's line there. He's like, I am servant of God. Something like that. Or that shot, right? George Clooney, right? Everyone be cool. You be cool, right? So, there's a particular shot of a close-up on the hand of the character played by Quentin Tarantino in that film that opens the film. It's a very startling close-up, that's for sure. Let's see. Let's see. Scrolling down. Oh, Christian, it's just nice to see you. Nice to see you, my dear friend. Anonymous Fowler is here. Hello, it's nice to see you. You're saying you're leaving Japan next week, and oh gosh, but you say you're enjoying the visit. Thank you so much. Thank you. Scrolling down. So Christian's hobby blog, he said, just got back from hanging out with a friend of mine from school who was my film professor for a few years. Got a good trade of Blowout, Return of the Living Dead 3 and Silver Bullet. Oh, well done. Informagine is here. Hello, it's nice to see you. Dominic Felice. I hope I pronounced that correctly. You say, first time I've made it to one of your live streams. Oh, welcome. Welcome. It's nice to see you. Thank you. Thank you so much for stopping by. It's very kind. Let's see, scrolling down. Davey Devolution as, are you a fan of True Romance from '93? I, I, while I wouldn't call myself a super fan of the film, I think it's really quite good in a lot of places. And right, it's quite it's quite intense, and there's a kind of complexity that's happening with a lot of the scenes. I think perhaps the most famous scene in the film is the scene with Christopher Walken and Dennis Hopper, right? Without a doubt, right? It's that is a really complex scene, and it's my goodness. I didn't get the recent release of it from some months back. So, but I missed out on whatever it was, the limited edition. Although if it's still available, I might think about it. But in any event, Etienne says, "Excellent français, mon cher." Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. um, Gosh, it's really quite embarrassing. I studied French for in high school. So you know, I guess there's I live in this kind of suburban area, and nearby where I live there is a hair salon, and the name of the store, the name of the hair salon is called Y. And so I once in a while, when I'm with a friend of mine, I will say what it is my understanding is as to the meaning of the word Y, right? XYZ. So very much so. So anyway, thank you very much, Etienne. I very much appreciate it. Okay. All right. Oda is here. It's nice to see you. Very much. Nice to see you. And I hope, likewise, I hope you have a great weekend yourself. Thank you. Okay. Seth Wall says, I read an article today about Indiana Jones 5 screenings. Are they making Indiana Jones 5? Is that I didn't even, maybe I heard about it. I forgot about it. I forget. But anyway. Yeah. Oh, interesting. So that's very interesting indeed. You know, let's say, and you say, please don't further tarnish the legacy of those great three films. You know, I totally understand the sentiment. I would say that for me personally, you know, I maybe I look at it kind of differently, which is, you know, whenever there might be a film that, and this might be alluding to some other things that might have been mentioned earlier, but when I look at a film when we're talking about franchises, for example, and I look at a film that is maybe not so good as say the films that came before. I mean, we'll take. I mean, I don't know. When I think about, uh, let's say, I wasn't at all enjoying the experience when I saw the film, for example, The Rise of Skywalker in the theater. I didn't enjoy that very much at all, to be perfectly honest. But that, to me, doesn't itself take away any enjoyment that I have and still have when I watch some of the other films from the Star Wars universe that I really enjoy. So I have a similar type of a feeling. You know, for instance, if I watch, I haven't seen the film Halloween Ends yet. If I watch Halloween Ends, I kind of know what's going to happen, though. I've kind of heard what's going to happen, and so if I watch Halloween Ends, that won't take away in any way at all the enjoyment that I have when I watch Halloween, Halloween 2, and Halloween 3, etc. So maybe I wouldn't go so far to say it destroys or it spoils any type of legacy that I see the earlier films have, because it's easy to kind of distinguish between them in the way that I'm trying to. Otherwise, again, it would be something that would be a bit too much. I felt something similar about I was mentioning the film No Time to Die. You know, I've mentioned before, I'm not the biggest fan of that film, but that in no way takes away my love and appreciation for the other James Bond films that I do love very much so. And indeed, maybe my kind of reaction to No Time to Die has, in fact, helped me to further appreciate exactly what it is about James Bond films that I do really, really respond to very positively. So it helps me in that way. And also, it helps me to say, okay, maybe when I have a better understanding of how I feel about that, that I can go and revisit No Time to Die, and which is what I'm trying to do now, and see how I might be affected by the experience in a maybe different way. So I had a similar feeling with the film Spectre. When I first saw that film, I didn't like that film at all. I thought there were, I didn't say, overwhelmingly, it was more often than not not such a pleasant viewing experience for me. There are some elements that I thought were really fascinating, but it wasn't quite a pleasant viewing experience for me overall at the time. However, again, a similar type of thing happened. I'm just trying to reevaluate it, and then trying to it reminded me what it is I love about the other Bond films, very much so. So, and it never took away anything of my enjoyment of those earlier films at all. So, and then now I look at Spectre and I'm liking it much more now. And so that it has that type of effect on me. Incidentally, you know, it's interesting too. I must say that for me, what's happening with the recent Bond films is that I'm finding myself, I'm really loving Quantum of Solace now. Earlier in my life, I loved Casino Royale, but now I'm loving Quantum of Solace. I love how confusing it is. It's everything. Everyone, who is this person? I love that, actually. That's a kind of element of spycraft. I think is not always reflected in the James Bond. I mean, it feels very much like a John le Carré novel in how it's almost organized in terms of all the various uh, interested parties that are represented. It's really fascinating. But so in that way, Quantum of Solace is becoming, I think, one of my. It could be my favorite Craig era film, actually. I mean, it's not without its. I don't. It's not. It's not like it's issueless for me. There's issues that I might have with it, but there's some really, really fascinating choices that are happening there, and confusing things that are happening at the same. But that confusion, I think, is welcome. But we'll see what happens going forward. But as I say, it's there's a way to kind of look at these things now, and seeing whether they are indeed disappointments to in one's eyes, to the point that it uh, totally affects one's viewing of all the films that are related to it, or if one can look at it as maybe being one thing that itself could be disappointing, but that doesn't affect one's overall viewing experience of what came before. You know what I mean? So I guess it depends on you. It really depends, because ultimately it's your choice, and it's your money that you are spending in terms of your purchases of tickets and Blu-rays and the like. You have the right and ability to respond in any way that you feel in terms of one's feelings and one's reactions to any particular work that comes about. that's released, and that's always been true, right? So anyway, let's see. Film Watcher 96, scrolling down here. Phantasm is my all-time favorite horror. Yes. I love all five of them, even though five budget was way, way less. It was pretty good. You know, I was. Do you? Does anyone remember the? Does anyone remember the MTV reality show called The Real World? Is anyone who watched that film, that show, The Real World? I seem to recall that one of the people that appeared on one of the seasons of The Real World, I think her job at the time was working as a crew member on one of the Phantasm films. I want to say it was Phantasm 3 Lord of the Dead. But no, it could have been Oblivion. I forget. But in any event, yes. Because I remember a Real World MTV Real World episode where it's talking about that person and what she does for a living, and it had a shot of her on a film set, and I think it was the scene with the nurse. So in any event, yeah, yeah, Phantasm, very very cool. Watchers, sometimes you say I got the 5 movie Blu-ray set with the slipper. Very cool, very very cool. Yes, way to go. Yes. Oh, Film Watcher 96 also mentions Thin Red Line. Yes, excellent choice. Yes. Oh, horrible show. Thank you very much. This time, yes. Um, yeah, you deleted a comment from some spam. Yeah. Thank you so much. I thank you so much. Those are the ones I don't like at all. Thank you so much. You know, when like I'll get those once in a while. You know, click here for click here to for hot pictures or something. I'm not going to click on that. What are you talking about? Don't waste my time. You know, that sort of thing. So, so, but every other comment is fair game. Everything is fair game. But I don't like those because if you click on those sorts of things, what's that going to do? And where's that going to take you? It's not going to be good. So that's not good. So thank you very much, Horrible Show, for looking out for me like that. Let's see, scrolling down here. Oh, Horrible Show. Then you mentioned. Oh yes, Katarina. Sorry. So you mentioned Kusturica films. Yes. Poetry is a little like underground or something. Yes, poetry is a little bit like Japanese film one. Yes, I agree. I very much agree. Yes, in the sense of a type of how should I put it? There's a I'd love to. Oh gosh, I'm not at all an expert, but I love to speak about underground one of these days. But we shall see. So. Yes. So Davey asks, which actor would you like to see as the next James Bond? I don't know. I have no idea. No idea. N- Wish it would. I don't know when it's going to happen, but as we know, James Bond will return. So, but no idea. Um, Film Watcher says earlier is about. Um, Now I will say I love Mandalorian and I haven't seen either of these shows. Book of what is it? Boba Fett. Boba Fett and Kenobi so I haven't seen any of these shows either. So um, let's see. Oh, she says Mr. Bean for next Bond. So uh, my my family, or we're subscribers to Netflix here in Japan, and one of the shows we like to see it's a Netflix show. What is it called? It's called Man versus Bee. Does anyone know that show, Man versus Bee? Rowan Atkinson. That's a and my kids, my wife really enjoy that, and it's right the house sitter story, and there's a bee, and it's the house sitter of a very wealthy, to do household with a lot of art and expensive furniture, and so Rowan Atkinson and a bee inside this place for whatever it is, and it's very funny, very funny. So yes, so very exciting indeed. Let's see. Cinematech is here. Hello, it's nice to see you. I see After Hours behind you. Hopefully, a 4K from Criterion in the near future. Oh, that would be very interesting. Were it to happen. I agree. I think After Hours is a very great and exciting, and quite a uh, yeah, quite a challenging film. Also, in a lot of ways. So, well done. And Cinematech's Henry Cavill is rumored to be the next one. I don't know. Is that the case or not? I'm not sure. Actually, I heard that they're not really in full gear yet, but we shall see. So, but in any event, let's see. She says, "Hey, I'm surprised we ain't seen a female Bond." Oh, all right. So, we shall see what the new films have planned when they arrive. I don't know if they're going to arrive anytime soon. I don't think they are. We shall see. All right, so I think I'm at the end of the chat. Is that the case? Oh wow. Okay. So I think I think if you want to. Okay. All right. So I'll stick around for another 10 minutes or so. Um, and then we shall go from there. But let's see. The Cinematheque says, "Do you still collect Eureka Masters of Cinema?" Not now. I used to up to a certain point, but now my Eureka Masters of Cinema purchases are more intermittent. And so there's yes, not yeah. So yeah. I'm complete only up to a certain point, but then everything else was that. So that's like a few years ago, in fact. So, but it's a great line. It's a really great line, and it has, I think, a very strong. It has a lot of strong elements. One of which is its silent film component. I think it has a really strong, and quite, in many ways, it maybe exceeds the ways in how silent film is, say, quote unquote, featured in the Criterion Collection catalog versus how it's featured in, say, Eureka Masters Cinema catalog. I mean, there are other labels as well, but Eureka's is very strong in that category, for example. So, all right. So let's see. ATN says, "Hi. What do you think of Spike Lee's cinema?" You know, I think when I mean, I've spoken a little bit about Spike Lee's work. For instance, I think when the film from Criterion, Bamboozled, was released, that was I think that was a very that was an opportunity for me also to speak about that work, which is a very fascinating, powerful work indeed. Upcoming too is, I think, the release of Malcolm X, and so I'm very much looking forward to a re-exploration of that film, Malcolm X. And um, I find if Spike Lee's work to be so kind of so fascinating. Um, for example, like there is a way in which like he uses cinema technique, and he uses style that is, I don't know if this has been mentioned as much as I think it maybe should be, which is that his style is very much reminiscent of a lot of the what one might call French Nouvelle Vague, new wave technique, in terms of the suddenness of a switch and a shift in perspective, or the use of a type of subjective perspective, a la the camera movement, and how it almost transcends a sense of quote unquote reality, which is a very fascinating component, because if we're thinking about a lot of his works, and let's take Malcolm X as an example, and this is one of the components that I'll try to talk about and try to articulate how I feel about this. But this is, again, using these techniques in a way that are almost transcending reality to try to tell a story that is based in a type of a telling of real life events. So it's often described as what's the phrase, biopic, but I think there is something about, and I don't mean this in a condescending way, I mean this in a very complimentary way, because it's very powerful how it's put together. How, and it's also reminding me of how cinema in this similar type of vein is handled. I mean, another example would be maybe something like The Irishman or something as an example. But the point here is that the way in which cinema technique, which is very much quote unquote artificial, and I don't mean that in a condescending way, I mean that in the terms of the recognition of the artifice of what we were watching, how that is employed in a way to tell a story, and quite effectively, I should say, for me personally, to tell a story that is having its sort of foundational elements in real world events, whether they be certain political dynamic and climate of at the time that the story is being depicted, etc., or other similar elements of that sort. And even when it goes into what one might call, say, social criticism, or even something beyond that, what one might call a sort of scathing indictment, perhaps on a political scale. Those sorts of discussions, combined with the element of the cinema technique, I think form a very fruitful field of discussion when it comes to his works. And I think that is, for me, one of the key hallmarks that makes his cinema ring very, very prominently. I think there is, of course, something that can be said about, and this is true for any film, this can be said about a discussion of a film and a discussion of the topic, and then also an engagement with the film, and then also coming down to how one feels about it, right? That's true for anything. That engagement can be maybe 100% with the film, maybe 90% with what's discussed, maybe the remaining 10%. You understand the argument or the situation, but maybe you feel somewhat differently. But all sorts of engagement are possible with any film, and I think there are certain aspects and certain examples of the works of Spike Lee that fall into this category, and true for any other filmmaker of that matter. I think it's done in a way that is very, very engaging, and it creates this type of conversation in terms of the interaction between technique in a provocative way and subject matter also in a provocative way, and it's done in a way that when combined together can be a very powerful experience. And so that's the type of trajectory that I'll try, and I hope to try to articulate if and when Malcolm X, the Criterion release, arrives. I'm looking forward to that very much. So, um, well, I see mention of Tom Baker, right? Right. Harry Sullivan is an imbecile, right? Or I guess I don't know. Who knows? Eh? Who knows? Right. Let's see. Um, I remember watching what's it, Dragonfire on TV in the UK. It was great. See. Oh, Kai is here. It's nice to see you. Nice. Kai Bird is here. It's nice to see you. Richard Pine is here. It's nice to see you. William Tatum is here as well. And I also remember catching on the radio, the song. Do you know the song? I mean, for anyone who knows Doctor Who, you will know the song, right? Doctor in Distress, right? So I'll give him this SOS. Right? No, 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 no. Yes. Yes. So very, very interesting stuff indeed. So, yes. Is that available on a kind of CD, by the way? Doctor in Distress? I don't know. I don't have that on CD. I mean, I guess you can find it on YouTube or something, but Doctor in Distress. But anyway. All right, so it's what? On 9:40. You're almost approaching 9:40. So any more comments? If not, oh yes, okay. William Tatum asks, how's everyone been enjoying the Criterion sale so far? So yes, that's a good question. So I have received a number of comments on the Criterion sale video that I uploaded, I think, a week ago, and I think a number of people have been very, very kind to share with me, and many others here about the purchases that they've been making. So really exciting. Again, I can't do any direct purchases at the Barnes & Noble sale directly myself, but I'm certainly enjoying reading the comments. It's wonderful to hear people's excitement about some of the titles that they're picking up. So really great. I think let's see. I don't know about the recent. Again, as I mentioned, I haven't. Was it The Power of the Dog? That's the most recent Criterion release. That hasn't arrived at my doorstep yet. So I just finished watching Eve's Bayou. I haven't finished all the supplements there, but that's Eve's. Wow. I remember watching that when it was first released as well. So that was exciting to see it in this version here. And then also, I haven't spoken about it yet, but I am, as I was expecting, going through the Criterion release of Lost Highway, I was left numbed, as I usually am after watching Lost Highway, and I mean that in a very good way. So I'm very much looking forward to that. To be honest, I haven't. I'm still trying to organize my thoughts about that extraordinary release from Criterion, but we'll get to that. It might take a little bit of time for me. I'm still trying to regroup in a matter of speaking. So, and I saw that in the theater too, Lost Highway. That was an amazing experience. Really, really amazing experience. And yeah. Yeah. See, I'm struggling to even mention. The words are failing me at the moment because it's that kind of experience that I felt when I experienced that. So, and then of course there's some other releases that I haven't been able to catch up on, but I'll try to catch up with those as much as possible. So, let's see. Let's Cinematheque. Oh, David Calhoun is here. Hello. And Chi has to go. Thank you, Chi. We'll see you again later. Have a good weekend. And then you say, let's see. Cinematheque says I picked up Eric Romer said, okay, Romer said, and Double Indemnity, Blowout, and Lost Highway in this. Oh, well done. Well done. So what is it? The Romer set. So Six Moral Tales. That's the set, right? So I actually spoke about that on this channel here as well. So each of the films in that sense. So and the Double Indemnity Blowout I spoke about recently. Lost Highway I haven't spoken about yet, but that'll come up hopefully very soon. The Cinematheque says, "Are you excited for Wall-E?" Yes, I am. I'm looking forward to seeing what that has to offer. So we'll see what happens. Listener Tech you then say, hopefully Inland Empire gets released next year from Criterion. Yes, fingers crossed. I also saw that in the theater as well. And I think I might have spoken about it a long time ago in a video where I was talking about my favorite movie theater experiences or something. Because that's definitely up there. That was amazing. That was amazing. Gosh, my memory is becoming. What did I say that it was at the? I want to say it was the IFC Theater in New York, downtown New York, and so it was. It was I hope my memory is again. It's I'm losing my ability to remember things really, and so I have to stay on top of that. So. But the movie theater experience of going to see Inland Empire was amazing, really amazing. It There's some scenes there that are, again, without going into too much detail, the theater shook. It was quite amazing. So. Yeah, but we'll see what happens. What's the Criterion? They haven't made their announcement yet for February, right? That's coming up. It should be next week. So let's see what the Criterion plans for next week. Looking forward to it very much. Looking forward to it very much. I hope they have some Blu-ray, or not Blu-ray, but I hope they have some Laserdisc titles. That would be very cool. I've or after hours. That would be really cool indeed. I've let's see if I had to choose. Let's see. There's so many Laserdisc titles that haven't been released. I mean, for instance, Adventures of Baron Munchausen, that was recently announced, was it not? And so that, as I think I might have mentioned, that used to be its own Criterion Laserdisc release back in the day. So it would be nice to see some more content. Oh, I know this is a very famous example of a Criterion Laserdisc release, but it would be so cool. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. Wishful thinking, perhaps, on my part, but it would be really cool if this were ever to get a Criterion release. I'm not the first one to say this, of course, but if this were ever to get Criterion release, I would be so happy. Yeah, what a film this is! Truly groundbreaking in a lot of ways. Back there. I mean, and interesting. Oh, this would also be great too. This would be great too. Imagine that would be great too. Where's my also? Oh yes. Also speaking. Let's see. Anyone seen? This Dead Presidents used to be a Criterion Laserdisc back in the day, but oh goodness, that would be really, really. And I know it's been spoken about a lot as well, but I know. Oh, incidentally, if one is going to speak, I mean, this is one of my favorite designs, cover art for Laserdiscs here. This is the release of The Killer from Criterion, John Woo. And inside here, this is the gatefold, so trifold, as it were. Very, very exciting stuff. And speaking of Coppola, we were speaking about Godfather earlier. It'd be cool also to get Bram Stoker's Dracula. There's a really cool feature here, a very interactive feature. This is very cool indeed. Or let's see, one more that I think would be really, I guess, if maybe people, I know some people know this as well, but 2001: A Space Odyssey used to be in the Criterion Collection as a Laserdisc back in the day. So that would be really cool to see if ever that were to get a release. These are but a few examples of titles that were in the Criterion. Ghostbusters as well. That would be really cool indeed as well to see Ghostbusters. That's how I started the conversation today to begin with. So very cool indeed. And let's see here. Um, William Taylor would love to see the Invasion of the Body Snatchers get brought over from the Laserdisc collection. Yes, that's right. The earlier, it's in the top. It's in the first 10 releases, I think. I hope I got that right. Is it the first? There it is, right here. Yep. This is one of the releases here. Number 8. There we go. That's right. Yes, that's one. So that's very cool indeed. That would be cool to see again. Although, again, these things are very different. Incidentally, if one is speaking of, let's say, gosh, what would be one that I would love to see here? Maybe speaking of Scorsese, Taxi Driver. Taxi Driver used to be, here we go, yes, Taxi Driver, right here. Taxi Driver. There we go. Oh, I can't get it. God, it's at the top there, I can't quite get it. Excuse me. Let's see. Here we go. There we go. That's Taxi Driver right there. See that? That's very cool. So if we could get Taxi Driver in the collection, that would be, or back in the collection as it were, that would be very cool indeed. Oh gosh, so many other examples here. I mean, I've mentioned it before, but did you maybe, I know some people know about this already, but did you know that, for example, Casablanca was a Criterion Laserdisc back in the day? So you have this Casablanca release, which is spine number 73 in the Criterion collection. So there we go. Look at that. Very cool stuff. So that would be cool if ever that were to happen again. I don't know if there's the likelihood of that happening, but it would be very cool if ever that were to happen. I think for a lot of people, too, let's see. Gosh. I guess I could go on and on, I suppose, but maybe I'll end it there and say that is, that's, well, I guess maybe I can show one more, which is, let's see. Oh, yes, well, there's this, which is kind of famous as well, which is Halloween. But did you know that Halloween was indeed released twice, at least twice as far as I know, in the Criterion Collection Laserdisc catalog? There's, of course, Halloween, which is right here, which is spine number 247. And then there's this one, which is Halloween, which is at spine number 310. So there you go. There are 2 different releases of Halloween in the Criterion Collection Laserdisc catalog. So it would be great if we could get a 3rd release, namely a Criterion release in a Blu-ray or otherwise 4K, whatever. Again, don't know of the chances of that ever happening anytime soon, but one can always hope, I suppose. In any case, I think we should probably end it there. Yes, we can end it there. So are there any other comments? If so, this is your chance to leave them behind here in the chat. But other than that, let me see what people have said, and we will go from there. So anyway, Melissa Woody is here. Thank you so much for stopping by. You say your collection is very impressive. Oh, thank you. Not at all. Not at all. Not. It's nowhere near as impressive as many others who have spoken about collections online. So, but I enjoy watching these and talking about them. So thank you very much for your lovely comment. Very much appreciated. Thank you. David Calhoun says, I just saw Akira at my local Alamo Draft House a few weeks back. Oh, cool. Kai says, rewatch Straight Story. Oh, cool. Very cool. Yes. The Cinematheque says April Fool's Criterion should announce a 4K of Jellyfish Eyes. I like that film, Jellyfish Eyes. Let's see, Cinematheque, do you have any titles from Imprint? Yes, so, gosh, I forget. What was it? Imprint, they recently released Dersu Uzala, right? That was Imprint, right? So and also yes, Straight Story, and also they it was Imprint also that released their version of the Dead Zone, the David Cronenberg, right? I hope I got that right. So yeah, so I have that as well. They're expensive, so I can't quite afford to purchase more of them, but where I can, I try. So anyway, oh, and Katharina says Le Corbeau, yes, Le Corbeau, very much so. Yes, I very much agreed. All right, um, film watcher, thank you so much. Okay, so I suppose maybe we can begin to wind down here. If you want to, uh, follow me elsewhere, I am also available, or I can be found at. The ice is gonna break. Yes, yes, yes. The ice is gonna break. Right. The ice is gonna break. Yes. Um. Yes. Thank you very much, Tanner, my dear friend. I appreciate that. Okay. If anyone wants to oops, there we go. If anyone wants to reach out to me, I'm here. I put my my Instagram, which is I can be found on Instagram at daisuke.beppu4. So you can check me out. Not check me out. You can check out my. I guess you can check me out in a way because I do have bodybuilding photos on there as well, but nothing very impressive at all. Also, there's a photo of me during a swim meet. So there was a very short period of time where I was doing swim races. Not at all very good. But I have that account on Instagram for for movie postings and the like, or the things that I'm talking about. And there's also a message function there. If you want to reach out to me, you can always. That's the best way to reach me directly. Actually, is with a direct message. I don't mind. Well, I guess I would mind it. Just if you want to reach out to me, I'm totally open to it. I can't respond to everything at once. And actually, once in a while, I'll get kind of not I'll kind of get kind of unpleasant messages, which I don't really appreciate. But those are very few and far between. But if you want to reach out to me, in if you want to reach out to me with a message or question, again, I can't promise to respond to everything or answer everything to your satisfaction, but I'm certainly available, and so no need to be shy or anything. I'm very happy to hear from people at any time. So if you want to reach out to me, you can find me at Instagram at daisuke.beppu4. And also, no pressure at all. You don't need to feel pressured at all. But if if you want to follow me on Instagram as well, daisuke.beppu4, please do so. I'm so happy to see you there. You can give me a follow. You don't have to if you don't want to. That's totally fine as well. But if you want to, very happy to see you there. And again, you can reach out to me. I occasionally post little what I call video shorts on Instagram as well. So that has a function where you can add music, which I really like. So sometimes I add music. I was showing. I was recently watching the film Life Force, and I had the what is it? The Stream Factory Shout Factory Blu-ray. And I was able to add the theme music of Life Force. Da, 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 da. Oh, so cool, so cool. I love that. It's so cool. So, very yeah. I enjoy it. And also like the Dawn of the Dead's music or something, or the Day of the Dead music or something like that. So it's a lot of fun. So if you are interested, if you want more Daisuke, you can also check out. You can check out the Instagram. You can check me out at the Instagram account at Daisuke Beppu4. And if you want to follow me there as well, I'd be very happy. That would mean so much to me. But no pressure at all. You don't have to do whatever. You don't. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. So you do whatever is comfortable for you. So the like. But again, Daisuke at Boo4 on Instagram. Um, and apart from that, yes. So again, I apologize for not uploading as many videos this week that I normally do, but I hope you can understand. Oh, Twitch. It says I'm not a Twitch user, so I don't do that. I'm not a Twitch user. I don't have Twitch or TikTok or anything like that. So my use of social media is actually quite limited at the moment. But um, yeah, but if something does happen, I'll let you know if I'm on some other social media. But thank you very much for that. Oh yes, um, what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. Oh, yes, yes. Or let's see, Frosty. Yes. Or um, oh gosh, this was, let's see. Um, do we have to? Are we gonna do Batman and Robin live stream? Is that the thing? That would be fine. I saw that in the theater. I did mention, right? I saw that in the theater too. Right, I mentioned, right, in terms of the groans when the bat card came up, but again, it's not. I think there's a practical utility for having one's own credit card. I wish I had my own credit card actually, but actually, come to think of it, I wish maybe that I should take that back. I could see a lot of issues with having one's own credit card, but in any event, not a problem. Um, uh, let's see. So yeah, do I mean I have been thinking about what to do after the Superman live streams next Sunday, not tomorrow, but next Sunday we're going to talk about Supergirl. And then after that, we'll talk about Superman for the Quest for Peace. But that'll be it as far as the Superman live streams are concerned. So that'll take us, I think, through to the end of the year. But after that, I'm not sure what we're going to do um, going forward. When we get into the new year 2023, I'm not quite sure yet what we're going to do. I mean, I'd love to talk about Batman movies, but there might be a little bit of, I don't know, we're talking about Superman, then we're talking about Batman. Maybe want to add a little bit of variety to the mix there as well. So that's a very fair game. I was speaking too about, I'd love to talk about, there's a film called, Alien. The director's name is Ridley Scott. I'd love to be able to talk about that in a live stream. And then of course, if you talk about Alien, then the next week you talk about Aliens, and then the next week you can talk about Alien 3. So I'd love to be able to talk about those films, to be able to share with you my impressions from Alien. That would be really great. And there are a lot of impressions I could do from Alien, but if we could figure something out, that would be really cool. So. Right. Or I could do there's one character I could do, but I think I'll need a glass of milk to carry it out. I don't think I can go that far in terms of the milk drinking. But in any event, yes, we can think about what we can do next after the Superman live streams are over, and then of course next week being Supergirl. So very exciting stuff. I don't know how many fans are out there of the film Supergirl. Maybe comparatively speaking, maybe when compared to say the other films, again, I'm not sure, but I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the film, and there are various versions of the film I know, so there's no reason to we don't have to stick to one version or the other. Whatever version you are able to watch, that's fine. But yeah, we'll get there. We'll talk about Supergirl next week, so I'm very much not tomorrow, but the following Sunday. So I'm very much looking forward to that very much. Oh, we're gonna have to do Alien or Aliens, and then also Creepshow. I haven't forgot about Creepshow. It'd be really cool indeed. And then also, um, right, there's also a there's a lot that needs to be said about Alien. My goodness, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we'll have to see. We'll think about it. But anyway, my dear friends. Image Ally says I would love your Ash impression. um, let's see. I suppose I could do one right now. Okay, here is a piece of envelope, which is from a Amazon right package that I received in the mail. But let's pretend this is not an envelope or packaging. Let's pretend it's a magazine. Okay, so here's my impression, or one of my impressions from Alien. Okay. So that's yeah, okay, so that's my one of my Alien impressions. Sorry about that. So sorry about that. Yeah. So there's also a bit uh you know there's a lot of things you can do with Alien, which is really quite. Actually, it's suggestive things that are really quite violent, violent scenes. But yeah, um, it was big. So many things to talk about there. Yeah. Um, mm, Parker, would you? Parker, Parker, shut up, Parker. Let's her, Parker. Yeah, Parker. So many things about yeah. Right. Uh, yeah. We're going to talk about the bonus situation. I'm going to talk about the bonus situation. Are we ever going to talk about the bonus situation? Because I can't do this unless we talk about the bonus situation. Again, I feel that. I'm totally with him. Because, I too am in favor. I would want, bonuses as well. I'd want as big a bonus as I can get in terms of working. So totally am with him when it comes to that. So, yeah, so we can talk about Alien. Um, at what point do you see the word alien in the title sequence? Like, it takes me a while. It's like na 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 woo, 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 woo. Yeah, so that's the Alien title sequence for anyone who knows Alien. But anyway, sorry about that. Sorry, I'm getting way ahead of myself. Um, yeah. So Nosferatu is that no, I don't know. I don't know this. Sorry, Nosferatu. But it's nice to see you. Thank you. Um, I'm Melissa Woody says, I'm new here, but totally down for Alien. Sounds awesome. Oh, thank you so much, Melissa, and welcome. It's so nice to see you here. Very nice to see you. Thank you. Damien is here. Nice to see you. It's a unique Alien impression. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's certainly a memorable moment, I think, in that scene, in that film. Here's another one, and I guess we can end on this one. So here's another character. So there it is. So do you know that moment from I'm sure you do. For those of you who know Alien, maybe you know what I'm talking about. Right? I'm gonna blow up the ship. Take your chances in the shuttle. And blow up the ship. Yeah, so yeah, okay. All right. So Nosferatu says, Amazon accidentally sent Pink Flamingo's Criterion Blu-ray twice to my address. Oh wow. Oh gosh. Oh, interesting. I wish that happened to me. That's interesting. Oh, well, anyway, Nosferatu, thank you so much. That hasn't happened to me a lot. Did it happen to me? Actually, it did happen once. What was it? It was for a film which was a Blu-ray, Japanese Blu-ray of the film. Do you know the film Four Rooms? Yeah, so it happened to me with the Blu-ray of Four Rooms. So it never happened with me for Pink Flamingos or any John Waters film, though. But in any event, thank you so much, Nosferatu. And Damien P., thank you so much. Thank you. And Image Ally says, now do Jones Now do Jones the cat. Okay, here's Jones the cat. Okay, here's a particular scene that's happening. So here's the soundtrack. What's happening? You know, to a particular character that's happening. You know, and here's Jones the cat reaction. Yeah, so that's Jones the cat's reaction to that particular scene. So you know, yeah. So very cool. So anyway, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Jones the cat, right? And also, I don't smoke. I don't smoke at all. But the cigarette ash in Aliens. You know what I'm talking about? There's a scene early on in the film Aliens with the cigarette that's held in the hand, and the ash. It's like that big. That's amazing. I saw that when I first saw it. I was like, "That's amazing. That is really amazing that it can still hang in that way and not fall off. That was really amazing." So, yeah. So, I mean, we'll have to talk about. I mean, I did my Aliens impression maybe some live streams ago. I can do it. I can do it again, right? I don't like to swear on the YouTube channel, but there's a so I won't say the dialogue, but there's a scene in Aliens, and the music, dun 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 dun, and the characters go like, right. So you remember that scene from Aliens? That's really cool. And then also there's that can't be. That's inside the room, but you're not reading it right, Oh my god! So okay, so there's another one there, and then also, let's see. Oh gosh. I mean, I'm not. Maybe I should try to practice my Hudson impression. If we were able to do an Aliens live stream, I should try to practice that one. But let's see. I mean, the one that I think gets off quote is, they mostly come out at night, mostly. And Paul Reiser, I guess I could do. Well, all right, that's my Paul Reiser. So there we go. And then also, we could talk about Corporal Hicks. Corporal Hicks. Yeah. Yeah. That's my Corporal Hicks. So there we go. And the like. And we can talk about the bit. Again, I don't want to get into too much detail about the aliens, but I don't know about you, but Hicks gives Ripley the little tracker, that watch tracker, and you can think of it as kind of like maybe it's like his way of maybe trying to get close to Ripley, and then Ripley gives it to Newt. So I don't know, when Hicks discovers this, I don't know how he feels about that. Does that mean that he interprets that to mean that maybe he considers that to be a rejection of him by Ripley? Anyway, I don't know. We can talk about that if we talk about Aliens, and also of course Alien 3. Of course, Alien 3. We're talking about Alien 3. So many things to talk about with Alien 3, which is let's see. Let's see. No! There should be some. Is there a YouTube video? Someone's done the 10 greatest no's in the history of cinema. I don't know, but that Alien 3 should be up there. That should be one of them. No! I mean, it was in the trailer, right? It was right. Do you know the Alien 3 trailer? It's really great, by the way. No! Right, I can't do it. No! I guess that's the way to do it. Do you know, right? Do you know the Olympics, like the Summer Olympics? I don't want to get into too much detail for those who haven't seen Alien 3 yet, but let me just say that every time the Summer Olympics broadcast comes up and you see the diving, the diving events, and then people do diving, front dives, reverse dives, and so whenever I see Summer Olympics diving events, I'm always reminded of the film Alien 3. And I'll leave it at that. So for anyone who gets that. Yeah, so yeah, maybe we'll have to talk about Alien. I don't, if we were to do that, I don't know if I would be able to go into a discussion of Prometheus or Alien Covenant or anything. It's if I or I'm sorry, or Alien versus Predator, or I guess we'd go up to Resurrection. But yeah, I don't know if I'd go beyond that, to be perfectly honest. So if we were ever to talk about Alien films, maybe we'd go through Alien Resurrection, if that's okay. Yeah, there's you know, here's my Alien Resurrection. Okay, here's my Alien Resurrection. The impression again. I don't want to get into too much detail again. Using the same envelope. Okay. There we go. So we'll go like that, and then see if you can get this one. So. Okay, so there. Okay, there's my Alien Resurrection impression. So anyway, so I guess we can end it there. And thank you very much for letting me indulge myself again for yet another of these unannounced live streams. You've really made my day, and I really needed it because I've been kind of out of it the past week. It's been busy. It's also been a little bit overwhelmed with feelings of sadness. So you've made me very happy. It's always nice to see you. So thank you very much for always being there and for your kindness and support, and just for being really pleasant to talk to, and for being so enthusiastic when it comes to talking about this thing which we all love, which is cinema. So I hope to see you at the next one. But until then, my dear friends, have a great weekend. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and take very good care of yourselves and your loved ones. This is the very much most important treasure. And then once you have taken care of that, my dear friends, please, I would consider it a great favor if you would please keep on watching a lot of great movies. All right, so talk to you soon, and cheers. Au revoir. Bye-bye.